G'day and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we've built our mathematically maximum resist team in Pokemon Champions. So we're pretty much stuck to the poker paste, which will be available in the description below. And the video to create this team will also be linked at the end. So if you want to see the creative or mathematical process to create this team, feel free to check out that video. Otherwise, we are up on the singles ranked ladder, and we'll see how it actually performs. Theoretically, it looks good. It prevents a lot of damage or incoming damage, so it'll have a lot of options for resistance. We'll all have our stab coverage. So our first matchup, we've got Dragapult, Charizard, Gut. It's a very heavy hitter team, where I think Como's going to give us our best lead because he's got a broad coverage. We could get a bit of Diggersby in. I think he might, with a lot of Earthquakes, huge power, could be quite useful here. And then, yeah, we'll bring our Meganium. We've got some options there, do we? I mean, against Garchomp, not so great against maybe Charizard, but we've got a good option there against Dragapult. You do suffer a bit against Archeludon and Arcanine, so maybe Meganium isn't the pick here. They've got a bit of physical and special. I reckon Aegislash. I don't think Meganium's going to be able to do a lot, let's just say. So I'm seeing maybe a Dragapult lead, but could be something different. Let's see what they decide. Tyranitar. Okay. That'll set the sand. That's good for us because we're obviously at an advantage here. So we could easily lock into Aura Sphere here, but they could just as easily swap into Dragapult here. But it's turn one. If they do, we've got an option to swap. Let's do it. We're expecting a swap here. They don't swap. Okay. So yeah, Aura Sphere almost picks up the KO. So maybe a good opportunity to do that on the calc. We see Ice Punch in return. So the question is, do they stay knowing our Aura Sphere will take them out next turn? Or are they going to swap into Dragapult? And if they do that, how much of a disadvantage are we? I don't think we're terrible. Yeah, so there's the withdrawal, and I'd be expecting Dragapult here. Garchomp, okay. We should still do decent damage. We've got the stab. Not huge, but we don't take the rough scales. So now they're likely going to Dragon us in return. They could just as equally Earthquake though. But I think we'll need our Como a bit later. So let's swap into Aegislash. See if they lock into Outrage. Pretty common around these parts. Yeah, there's the scale shot. So they could just as easily Earthquake here. They get the defense drop. They get a bit of speed. We get our leftovers. If they Earthquake here, I don't think our King Shield does much because it's not a contact move, but maybe they've got something else. So let's do a bit of scouting. Luckily they didn't switch out then. They could just as easily Sword Stance here, but there's the Earthquake. Okay, so one of the scenarios we expected. So the question is, are we going to live an Earthquake to be able to Poltergeist? We're pretty defensive. We'll be in our defensive form, so let's go for it. There's the Earthquake. Big damage. KOs us. That's unfortunate. Owl was a crit. I think that mattered. So, props to them. I think this is... So we know they've got Tyranitar. I think we bring our Como back in and just get some Clang and Scales going. Because that's a 110. It will lower our defense, but that should be fine. We know they're planning to Scale Shot here. They've got a speed boost. We've got Choice Scarf. So hopefully that should be enough to outspeed them. But we'll see what they decide to lock into. They do lock into Outrage. They are faster with the speed boost. So that's unfortunate. And I think that's going to seal the deal for us and our team in our first match. So yeah, we've got Diggersby in the back. I don't think a Body Slam's going to be able to take out the KO again with the speed boost. We could Body Slam or Earthquake. I mean, we can try and see how much this damage does for a bit of testing. We should survive the Outrage with our Focus Sash, or we just straight up out survive it anyway. So Body Slam, enough to KO, and then the Rough Skin kills us. So, alright. Good time to have a think about what we could have done differently then. I mean, we had a strong lead. The Como not doing enough damage to take out a T-Tar might be worth revisiting. And get some bonuses, lose a bit of ranking, but we'll persevere, we'll keep learning, seeing what the team is good against and weak against. That was a pretty heavy hitting team. So we'll see what we get paired up against next. And this time we get Sylveon, Espeon, Arcanine, Gyarados, likely Mega Chimecho, and then Torterra. So what are they likely to lead with? Is this a good opportunity for our Diggersby to do a bit of scouting? I think so. We'll have Rotom in the back for Gyarados, or I think Mega Meganium with the Fire and Grass could be good here, because Mega Chimecho was Steel. And then are we going to take our Homo, Aegislash? I'd really like to take Rotom here, but if it's Mega Gyarados, we're going to be not in a great position. So we've got a few options here, but I think Aegislash might be the pick here. I might be wrong. We'll see what they decide to lead and bring. A lot of the games, you know, very heavy on that team preview. You know, you got to pick three, they've got to pick three, and whoever gets it right's in a commanding position. But I don't think we're too bad of a lead here. We can just open up with a Body Slam, try and see if we can get a Paralysis, maybe bring it low enough down to be able to Quick Attack. That'd be good. And yeah, they didn't have any Ghost on their team, so we should be free to click a normal move. There's the Yawn. So that's going to try and put us to sleep next turn if we don't swap, but let's see what a Body Slam does. Could do big damage here. Just not enough. So they could just as easily protect here, expecting something to come in. We can try and swap to avoid the sleep, but they could just as easily Yawn again. I'm happy to sacrifice Diggersby. I reckon a Quick Attack should do about 9% damage if they don't protect. Because they could pivot here, they could expect us to swap and Yawn. Or they could expect us to stay in and fall asleep, which is of the likelihood. So yeah, we get our Quick Attack off. It's enough to do our 9%. We'll fall asleep, but we'll get to see what they've brought next, and that'll shut down those Espeon shenanigans. Okay, so there's the Gyarados. It'll get the Intimidate off, which reduces our attack. So the question is, do we swap now? They're going to start Dragon Dancing, I think, so we're going to need to be in a better position. So we'll swap to Aegislash. I'm not expecting them to Earthquake. If anything, they would Waterfall, but I'm more likely they're going to Dragon Dance here. They'll seize the opportunity to get a bit of speed and attack going, which is why we needed to pivot quick. So this allows us to Poltergeist. Unless they Mega Evolve here and turn Dark, our Poltergeist should do a decent bit of damage. We got pretty high defenses. We're not negged by the Intimidate. And that was the plan over bringing Rotom, because if we'd have brought Rotom into here, we'd already, we know we only outspeed Gyarados by 1. So swapping is not ideal. And yeah, you can see they did swap to or Mega Evolve, which gives them the Dark typing. So Poltergeist isn't going to do as much damage. But we get the stance change. And this should be, see how much, not a lot. So they could just as easily go for another Dragon Dance here and keep going. Because they're up 2 as it is. If I go over here, so they're up 2, they could keep going. They could also attack. I think they're going to keep Dragon Dancing, so it makes sense for us to do another attack. We'll do another 33% damage, unless we crit. That'd be nice, but no crit, another 33. So we'll get them next turn if they don't attack. So they might know that if they Dragon Dance again. So let's hopefully catch them on a King Shield. Yep, so they went for the Earthquake, although that's not going to proc the King Shield, which is unfortunate. Now, we know we don't survive a stab. So let's... Oh, we're in not a good position here. Let's try and just see if we can get some extra chip, or we're just swapping. We'll just swap. We'll swap to Diggersby. He can take the big Earthquake, because they're under pressure now to attack. We've got it down to 33%. They'll Earthquake again. This was at +3 now, so yeah, we're not in a great position. We'll at least get that. We don't get we still haven't had our 1 turn of guaranteed sleep here, which is not ideal. But they could seize on that and do another Dragon Dance here. See, I don't think we've had all the right options at all the right times. We seem to be getting them capitalizing on the lead, but then fall short after that. So again, having to adjust our picks. So they do capitalize on the fact that I'm going to need to sleep again. Which is fine, because now I can actually wake up this turn, potentially, and do a huge power quick attack. And I do wake up, quick attack goes off. That's decent damage. So maybe this is how we take out the Gyarados. We lose Diggersby. Our only chance now is if a Shadow Sneak's going to be able to do it, and I don't think it is, which is most unfortunate, but it's what we've got to work with. So yeah, let's see how much a Shadow Sneak can do. I don't think it can do 9%, which is unfortunate, unless we crit. That'd be nice, and that'll get us out of this jam. But they're obviously having a think about whether our Aegislash also has a priority move. Come on, big damage, crit. Oh, it's enough! Was that a crit? Opposing Gyarados? No, okay. So we know a Shadow Sneak does a bit of work there. Alright, we're back in the game. Okay, so there's Arcanine. Not great for us. Let's King Shield and do a bit of scout. I expect them to flare blitz here. Being ghost type, they're locked out of extreme speed, which is kind of helpful. But let's see what they lock into. Will-O-Wisp. Alright, that seems to go through King Shield, which is unfortunate. And that's going to not help our cause. Alright, so we've got to be mindful that Will-O-Wisp goes through King Shield. So I think if we just stay in... Yeah, I don't think swapping's the right play here either. Scorching Sands, I mean, does a bit of damage. No flamethrower though, so see how much we can do on a poltergeist. It's got charcoal, so we'll also get to scout what item it's got. And so yeah, Scorching Sands is special, so even if we King Shield here, it's not going to proc the negative attack, and I don't think it obviously phases them, because they're just going to Scorching Sands again. So that's all they've got. If that's all they've got, let us then take this opportunity. And if we swap into Meganium, we can Dazzling Gleam? Not really. We can Weather Ball? Not really. And we can Solar Beam? Not really. So yeah, we're really at a disadvantage here against this Arcanine. But at least we're in our shield mode, taking Scorching Sand damage. So let's see if we can chip it away. Crit would be good here too. Yeah, we're going to be 4 KOing at this stage. We're doing about 25% a turn. So yeah, we're just King Shield again. Hopefully we can try and get it low enough so that Meganium can finish it off. Scorching Sands. We take burn damage, but we get the leftovers. And we know we're benefiting the maximum amount from our leftovers with being a 1/16th with having 160. So yeah, it's whether we survive a Scorching Sands on 34 in defensive form, and we do not, which is unfortunate, but that's at least gotten Arcanine down to half. And then yeah, we'll see if we can do anything here. I mean, if they've still got Scorching Sands, we're in a bit of a decent position. I think of the two, Solar Beam's going to be doing more damage, even though it's going to be doing half. Weather Ball's only 50 at the moment. It'll swap to Sun. We wouldn't get stabbed. It wouldn't be very effective. We're getting not a lot of bonuses on that roll. So let's see if a Solar Beam with stab against not very effective, can it do at least 20%? Maybe 30%. Let's see what we got. Big damage. I mean, it's enough to 2-hit KO. If they've only got Scorching Sands, there's the Will-O-Wisp again, but we're not overly impacted by that because we're not physical. So we still take the burn damage. So yeah, Arcanine without a fire move is quite risky. Alright, we were not in a great position there. We got a bit lucky with the Wake and the priority moves against their Gyarados. We were not in a good position against their Arcanine, but I guess whatever they had in the back was not good against Mega Meganium. And they knew they were going down next turn, so... Bit of a shaky one, but we got through it. So we've got a bit of time for a few more, so hopefully try and get to Master. But let's see what we're up against next. Alright. So, we've got Corviknight, Mr. Rime, Rotom Wash, Esperatha, Tyranitar, and so I think Como is going to be absolutely powerful here. We're definitely going to need Mega Meganium for their Rotom. And then, I think Rotom. because we've got lightning and fire against Corviknight, we've got fire against, and then if we have a look, yeah, I don't know how much Diggersby or Aegislash is going to do, maybe against the Esperatha, but Psychic, we've got a few options there. Maybe we scare it off. King Gambit could do alright here, but I think we're going to need these options going into this battle. So, see what they decide to lead with. Polytoad Admirer Allen. So yeah, they do decide to lead with the Esperatha. So typical turn 1 is usually protect to get the speed boost. We're not in an overly strong position here, but, and then also being psychic, it's really going to hurt us if they decide to hit us with a psychic move. Yeah, the one thing we didn't really prep for, we're up against. So I think we get Meganium in. We'll save our Como for a bit later. So yeah, there's the Lumina Crash. So if we stayed in there, it would have done big damage. They get the special defense drop, which isn't great for us. They also get the speed boost. Let's see if we can Solar Beam them in return. In the Foul Sun. Faux Sun. So hopefully even with the special defense drop, we can survive another Lumina Crash. Well, that's what we see. We do not. Yeah, the special defense boost there was not great. We were overly unprepared for an Esperatha lead, which is extremely unfortunate. And those are the sorts of decisions that's going to cost you the whole game in these ranked battles. So they could just as easily Lumina Crash here, but they're going to bat and pass a +2 speed boost to something, and this could be where we seize our advantage. Could be a Tyranitar coming in now. And there's the Tyranitar. Because, yeah, our Overheat's not going to do a lot, except neg to our special attack, which is not good. They're now +2. We're at a huge disadvantage. They could just as easily rock move here, or rock slide. So our only option is to swap into Como. If we stick in with Rotom, we will definitely lose. But they know we have Como in the back, so they could just as easily cover for that. So yeah, if we led with King Gambit then, obviously we would have been in a much more commanding lead, but now this Tyranitar is at +1 attack, +3 speed. So I don't even think our Choice Scarf is going to be sufficient here, and we know it doesn't KO. They've locked into Earthquake. We might survive that, and we do. But we get their Aura Spear off. If they haven't, yeah, they've... So they could Earthquake again here. They're still going to be faster. Like, even if we pivot into... Like, if we stay in, we lose our Como. If we pivot into Rotom, we're immune to their Earthquake. And, you know, it's something they could likely do again. Rotom covers for that, but they could just as easily predict it and swap. They don't. But then, yeah, now they just swap, change into Rock Slide, and that's going to do us, I think. Unless it misses, we can get the Thunderbolt off and land. Yeah, Stone Edge has a pretty high chance to miss, but it doesn't. So that was our potential out, but unfortunately it didn't materialize. So yeah, we just lost on the lead then. So good job, Esperatha. We've had a few times where Esperatha's led and it's spent a bit of time buffing up before baton passing, but they had an opportune there to just Lumina Crash my Como with the fighting. It would have done big damage, so... Bit of a roller coaster up and down at the moment. We're still figuring out the team. This is the first time we've taken it on the ladder, so we're still learning, and we're JB against JT. So, what a matchup. What do they got? They got Alakazam, Ampharos, Glacian, Weedier, Tyranitar, and Dragonite. So, I don't think King Gambit's a bad lead here. I don't know if they're going to lead Alakazam, but we'll have a few options going into it. We could just as easily lead with our Como as well. I think we're going to lead with Diggersby here. Gives us a bit of Earthquake and Body Slam options. We've got the Focus Sash to survive and Scout. We'll then have Como. Yeah, see, Como's not a really good counter against Tyranitar, because as soon as Tyranitar comes in, he gets a special defense boost, so not ideal. And then, yeah, I think Mega Meganium should be able to clean up the remainder. So, yeah, Aegislash is not having a great time here. You know, could have done some good Shadow Sneak. I'm expecting Mega Alakazam. I just don't know if they would lead with it. That's my only unanswered question. But let's see what they do decide to lead with. They do lead with Alakazam. What do you know? All right. So yeah, ideal here. They get huge power, which, you know, won't really impact them overly, but will survive the Focus Sash, whatever they throw at us, and then Body Slam should be able to leave it low enough for us to quick attack. So if they decide to stay in, they're in a world of hurt. So we might see a pivot here, but they're probably not expecting us to be... Okay, no, they also might be Focus Sashed, and it might not be a Mega Alakazam. So yeah, we get the special defense drop. We do get the Body Slam. That'll do big damage, and yeah, there's their Focus Sash. So they don't have any priority moves. We get the Paralysis as well. I mean, it's not overly impactful here because, yeah, we'll just finish off with a quick attack if they decide to stay in. If they bring it back later, at least it's paralyzed. But no, we'll just get the quick attack off, do the 1%. 1 down, 2 to go. See, unfortunately, that was enough to break our Focus Sash, but we'll see what they come in with next. There's the Tyranitar. So, there's the Sandstorm. Are we quicker than Tyranitar? Depends if they've invested into speed or not. I think let's try get an Earthquake out. Alright, they're going to Mega Evolve, which is going to not help our Como counter. We do get the Earthquake off. That's advantageous. That's big damage. That's enough for Como to clean up. So yes, that's going to certainly help. They get the knockoff, which will knock off our Focus Sash, but Diggersby has done an incredible job. Enough for Como to come in and clean up. So now we're threatening Frightening. Do we Aura Sphere? Do we Flash Cannon? I think we Aura Sphere. I don't think there's a reason not to. I mean, we could just as easily Clanging Scales. But I think Aura Sphere, if they decide to stay in, and they do, this will clean up. Excellent. We even get the crit. Not that that overly mattered. But now, there goes their Mega, so maybe there's a Dragonite in the back, and that'll be sealing the game for us, I think. But they've got Ampharos. Alright, I think that's a good position for us. They can't Mega Evolve. Ideally, we Clanging Scales here, but we're locked into Aura Sphere. I don't overly think we need to swap. So, yeah, we'll just bang out an Aura Sphere. Whatever chip damage we can do here, Mega Meganium can clean up. Dazzling Gleam is going to absolutely destroy Como. So at least we got a bit of chip before we tag out. They're taking a bit of sand damage. We get our Mega Meganium. We Solar Beam. We're not overly threatened by any lightning or fairy attacks, so we should be able to just Solar Beam them for the win. Ampharos is typically pretty slow, so with our speed investment, we might even outspeed it, which would be good. I don't think Ampharos has any poison moves, but that would definitely surprise us. But they're deciding to hang around, so let's see what they got. Yeah, so we're faster. We get Solar Beam in the faux sun. And that should be enough. And it is. Excellent. Alright, so yeah, bit of a random mismatch of Pokemon on their team, but it seems to work for them, but just not on this occasion. Alright, that puts us a little bit further into rank 1. Let's go one more. We'll try and squeeze in as many as we can before we'll take full review and see what changes need to be made to the team. But now we're in our next one, Alcest. So they've got Cleaver, Primarina, Absol, likely Mega Delphox. They've got the Hydrapple and the Poison. So again, I think in this scenario, leading with our Diggersby's good option. Are we going to bring in our King Gambit? Rotom, not overly effective here. I think we definitely bring Como. We've got options. Clanging Scales can do some decent damage there, except the Primarina. So if we try and look into Clanging Scales, we need to get rid of the Primarina, which means we take our Mega Meganium. Yeah, I don't think Aegislash. I mean, against the Delphox, yeah, we really need to try and clear the Delphox quick so that our Meganium can take, but we've also got to watch out for their... So maybe Mega Meganium isn't the play here. Maybe Aegislash is... Aegislash is going to be a bit better against their Delphox and their Slowking down the bottom. I think that'll be right. We just have to weasel another way to get rid of their Primarina if they decide to bring it. But let's see what they decide to lead with. It is the Delphox. So we won't look into Earthquake here because we know Mega Delphox gets Levitate. So we're just going to straight up Body Slam. We should be able to survive whatever they throw at us. And then hopefully we can do a cleanup similar to Alakazam, where we just do a truck ton of damage and then quick attack. But they decide to stay in. So there's the Mega Evolution that we expected, which gives it Levitate. So yeah, looking to Earthquake there is bad. Substitute. Alright. So sacrifice 25%, but we should be able to Body Slam that. Boop. And that'll go. We've still got our Focus Sash intact, and they've just lost 25% of their life. So they were expecting us to Earthquake then, I guess, and have a free substitute for next turn. But we've revealed we've revealed that we know. So that might change their gameplay a little bit, because a big Body Slam here would do a fair bit of damage to their Delphox. But they're debating whether they swap or stay in. They've decided to stay. Flamethrower to do decent chunk of change, but we get our Body Slam off, and that's enough to KO. So Diggersby putting in a bit of work there, cleaning up their Mega. Let's see who they decide to bring in next. There's the Primarina we really want to try and get rid of. And we've got Aegislash to try and be able to do that. Are we faster? I don't know if we're faster. We'll just get a bit of chip on with the quick attack. Can't really risk, because Primarina's probably going to go for a Hyper Voice or even an Aqua Jet to try. There we go. So we did outspeed it, but we outsped it in the priority bracket, which was super helpful. So you're obviously not going to bring or reveal our Fighting Dragon. So let's bring in Aegislash. We should be able to resist their water and fairy attacks. So we know Aqua Jet's there. Usually it's a Hyper Voice with Liquid Voice ability, turning that to water. So let's lock into Poltergeist. We should be able to survive an attack. We're in our shield form, so they could just as easily swap out here. So let's see what they decide to do. So they stay in, Sparkling Aria, water damage, not going to do... It does 61 points of damage, but we get our Poltergeist off, hopefully. Mystic Water. Okay, so yeah, they're extra base power, but that'll do big damage. And again, they could just as easily Aqua Jet here, but that's not going to KO us. So let's go for Shadow Sneak. Yeah, we'll take a bit of damage from the Aqua Jet, but we will resist it, so it shouldn't do 109 points of damage. But our defenses are lower in this form, so it's a bit of a gamble, but I think it should pay off. They could just as easily swap here as well. They're having to think whether swapping's going to be a good idea. They're at 12%. They'll outspeed us on the Aqua Jet, but they decide not to. So yeah, we get the Shadow Sneak. That'll clean up. And then it's a 1.5 versus 1. But yeah, our big blocker was the Primarina. So let's King Shield. Cleaver's likely a Choice Scarf variant here, which I think is going to be pretty popular. And we could see the Stone Axe, but that'll proc our King Shield, which will lower their attack, which is good. We get a bit of leftovers. We could try and go for a double here. We could try and we could also try and pivot into our Como, but I reckon they'll let them Stone Axe. It won't do a lot of damage. We should be able to get our Iron Head off here. And then, yeah, our Como should be able to clean up whatever's left. But this will be big damage. Oh, was that Sash? It is Sash. Okay, so not Choice variant. So yeah, I don't think there's anything they could do here. They know we have Shadow Sneak, and yeah, we'll just use that to pick off the one remaining hit point. And there it is. Oop. Excellent. All right, yeah, I think that's a good performance for the team. We won some, lost some. We started figuring out where the team's advantages and disadvantages are, and again, it's something to build upon. My only hope is that, you know, this type of team inspires another type of team, or inspires some use of a certain Pokemon. But other than that, if you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I appreciate your support. Until next time, take care and enjoy. Thank you.